Welcome. On this channel, I do unscripted, unedited videos about Linux programming and stuff. If you're new to the channel, check out the description below. It'll have some details about the channel and the format. Today, I'm going to start by picking up a little where I left off in the previous video. I had been kind of working previous videos. I had kind of been working my way through cleaning up how I was doing tests, and of course I changed it yet again off camera, and I'm gonna kind of catch that up a little bit. So if we actually can get there, we want to go to Space Captain and the server folder. Okay. I just cleaned up the makefile a bit. I'll probably continue to tinker with it from time to time. I still have that section that I did to create, in the previous videos for the test. So that still works exactly as I had it before. So if I make clean and then make tests, of course it makes all of the tests, and we can see those in the bin folder. This is what I had done the last time. And if I touch let's say config test, config H inside, or C, it doesn't matter, inside of the source folder, and then make tests again. Of course, it only rebuilds that one. Make does make things. But I didn't originally have that set up so well. Now that all works. And of course, make test does run it. We have make, which is the default target, and I have make release now. Make release, which will build with slightly different set of command line flags. You can see how I did that here in the make file. I have the default set of flags that we're setting that are common across all builds. And then for each of the specific builds, I modify it slightly, adding or changing whatever flags I need, adding flags to the common set. I'll tune those over time, but I was more proven out. That's how I want it to work. I've changed install to actually use the install command. I did not realize I have been using Linux for 25 years or something. I don't even know. And I did not realize that the install command was in core utils until just a couple days ago. So it's basically always available. It lets you copy the file and set the permissions all in one go. It is, in fact, the perfect tool for installing stuff. What else did I change? That is about it, really. Part of what I was doing is I wanted to have like the actual file targets be grouped together in kind of a logical order. And here you can see, including all the way down into like the install prefix here. Then I define all of the phony targets. First, I'm using the phony targets. I'll probably put some comments in here to clean this up. First, I put the phony targets in here that are related to like building and releasing and installing. And then I put the phony targets in here that are related to like the development, just running it, running the tests, running the debugger, things like that. I'll add some comments. This will continue to evolve. I just think it's a lot cleaner than where it was prior to this. Okay. That was pretty much the last thing that I had worked on. Today, I'm going to kind of jump off in a different direction. I am going to try and a couple of things. I'm going to define a little bit about what the game is. I'm going to define a little bit about how I'm going to explore what I need to learn and how I'm going to approach that. Ideally, I'd be writing these down in the repos, but I think that I'm not going to go that far today. I will. It'll just be a description here in the video as we kind of start to work into things. Okay. In the in the most basic sense, I guess I don't want to commit myself to. I have pretty strong ideas of where I'm going, but I don't want to commit myself just yet. So for now, what I'm saying is that the game is a multiplayer game, a massively multiplayer game. So it's intended to host. I mean, I would be ecstatic if I ever could get 1,000 people on it way down the road. But I will develop it so that it is designed to work at an order of magnitude above my highest dream. So if 1,000 players is the highest dream, then we'll engineer it to be appropriate for 10 or 20,000 players. I always find it just an easy rule of thumb honestly, it's basically just designed for like 2 orders of magnitude better than you actually intend, and that should cover you. That's kind of been a thing I've done in my career. 1 order of magnitude is a lot more practical. But if you can do the 2, then it's even better. Okay, so the first thing I think that I really need to lay out, and I've already kind of done it, and I'm going to revisit it and look at all the different options, and I just need to learn and understand the best way to approach the core layout of the application of the server code in terms of, just the core functionality, the root of the program. I don't think that I know enough to do that right now. I think that the very first thing that I have to really do is to go explore what the server architecture could look like. And I am going to jump in and just do a little bit of prompt engineering with the AI and kind of explore where this can go. So what I know is that I actually didn't just talk about it just now, but one of the things I did do, I guess I doesn't really matter. I was going to say that I have decided on C18 as the target, so I've done that. I've kind of been on the fence about whether I want to make a POSIX compliant server, which potentially could run on the BSDs or something like that, or even OS X, or if I was willing to have it being a dedicated Linux server. And kind of where I was at, where that was coming up was whether or not to use ePOL for the main network loop. And I think what I'm currently sitting at is that I am going to use ePOL on the server. The server is going to be targeting exclusively Linux. It's not intended to run on other platforms, but I'm going to kind of do the opposite when I get to working on the clients. Because I'm going to drill down for the performance on the server. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that people might be running the clients on anything, and I'm going to make those very flexible. And so I get to explore 2 different kind of programming approaches, right? I get to, hey, I want to go full performance on Linux, right? Drill down. In fact, I may in the future say, oh, I'm full performance on ARM architecture for the server. I might go that specific, right? Whereas on the clients, it's going to be, hey, I'm going to write them in different languages, and I'm going to, make them as flexible as possible so they can run as many places as possible. Okay, I'm going to jump in, and let's just start to explore. I'm going to use the AI. I'm going to use Google Gemini Pro to do a little exploring here. I might switch and use others in the future, but this is where I'm going to be at today. I want to explore that core networking loop. I want to see what the AI gives me. I want to play with it and just get a real good feel for what that architecture looks like in the code. Okay. Okay, I've added an element here, which I need to share. which is that okay, so let's go to GitHub. You'll start seeing this repo in the show notes for every video. This is going to be kind of the landing page that represents the channel. Here you're also going to see that there's a link to the Space Captain project. The Space Captain project is going to strictly ignore the fact that I have the channel and that I'm developing the game in the channel, and the repo is going to be completely clean and narrowly focused on only the code and the game in that repo. Whereas the channel, the LPS channel, or the LPS repo, is going to cover the meta, right? So when I go, like today, I'm going to go exploring here. And so what I'm going to do is, I do not know how I do it. That was a control, whatever. I'm going to jump over to that repo for today. And I am going to drop down into this prompts folder. And in this prompts folder, I likely will create, in just a moment here, I'm going to create a video 42 prompt folder and then start to explore. Then we'll start to explore stuff. But first, I want to show, I have a bit of a template here, which is set up in this hello world one. And I want to share what I'm starting with as a prompt. So one of the things that I found is the AI can get a little confused about exactly, obviously, if you don't define it, then it has to make decisions, and it doesn't understand that it needs to make these decisions, right? So in some places it might target one particular standard or one way of doing things. And so what I've come to with playing around with this is I have this little preamble that I've been using, and I want to just kind of demonstrate. So if we take this preamble, which my brain, so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm saying, hey, I want this to work, I want the same code to work on x86 and ARM. I want to write for C17 standards. I want to use the standard int and int types H as opposed to using just short, long, right? I want to use the types that are defined in standard int. Give me a make file. I want to be able, no matter what code it gives me, I want to be able to just say make instead of having to type some, compiler GCC command. I ask it to, I let it know that this is for production use. Often, if you don't tell it it's for production use, you'll see it not do error checking sometimes because it thinks it's doing an educational thing. But I ask it still to just explain the thing to me. I've been experimenting to see if the target of who it's explaining for even matters. So lately I've been setting it to, an explanation appropriate for experienced engineer, but I've used junior engineer and new programmer and all kinds of different things. I can see that it changes it, but I can't see a significant, it doesn't change it enough for me to have noticed a preference yet. And then in this case, I jump into, let's write a program. And in this case, it's just a hello world. So I'll take all of this. We will go prompt Gemini here. And then we will let it whirl away on that. We'll show you what it gives, and then we're going to start to iterate on this, with the target being our core networking loop for our world. Now, like I said, I already have it, but it's not appropriate. I need to do something different. We'll talk about what it is as we prompt our way through it. I'm not sure that we're going to get to a point of actually completing this in this video. We'll get to a point and then probably pick it up in the next video. Okay, so let's take a look at what it's giving us here. So I'll download these pieces as we do it, and then we'll run it, make sure everything's good. So it's basically giving us a hello world. It includes all the headers. It's probably going a little overboard with the explanations because I asked it to explain it. Looks like mostly that it is creating this message ID thing just so that it can actually use the standard int types because I asked it to. And it is even checking, it is literally even checking for errors on printfs. So, I mean, that was the ask on write production code, right? So we'll download this one. I don't know if it's any different than the one that I already have. So this is in Hello World prompts. Replace that one. The make file, that doesn't matter too much. I think we're saying, I'd have to actually look that up, but I'm assuming what that's saying is if it's not already defined, define it to GCC. Gives a target, sources, objects, C flags, and you can see here it does pick C17 as asked. C17, C18, they end up defining the exact same. Did I actually say 17 or 18 in the prompt? I did say 17 in the prompt. It could have been 18. They would have come out the same. I mean, there is a C18 and a C17 target for the standard switch. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing interesting going there. So we'll save that one. I don't like GNOME's save dialog here very much. Or it's Chrome's, really. And it gives us an explanation. Okay, so stuff for standard int, it explains type safe formatting, robust error handling, yeah, standardized exit calls, yeah. Cross compilation support. Even gives it to us. That's interesting. Don't think I'd noticed that before. Compile, blah 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 blah. Okay. Nothing too crazy there. If we close out of that, so we just picked up this Hello World C. We just downloaded it. It is the one that we just looked at. Then this makefile is the one that we just looked at. And if we make this, we get Hello World, right? Okay, so we have a working Hello World. Now we need to iterate on it. This is where I'm going to pump up a level, and I'm going to do make CPR Hello World, and this is video 42. So we're going to drop in that video 42 folder. Interesting number. I jump over into the world of LLMs with video 42. We'll see how that goes for us. Make clean, and I can RM Hello World. I would need to make that RM Hello World. We'll just leave we'll get rid of that makefile too. So we're starting clean. So where are we going with the prompt? Well, let's write a C program named server. Let's start with that. The biggest thing that I know that I want to accomplish with this program is, well, let's talk a little bit. So in the networking loop, we basically have a choice between select, poll, and epoll. Both select and poll are available on POSIX systems. Select is ancient and antique. Poll would be the recommended way to do it. Epoll is only available on Linux and is higher performance than poll. Or would be with this large number of connections. I don't think poll would make any difference if you were doing a dozen connections or 100 connections or whatever. But we're potentially designing for 20,000 connections. Pipe dream, I know, but let's go with it. And so epoll is the answer for that. I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but the honest truth is I only barely do. The difference between the two, as I understand it, is every time you make a poll, every time you use poll, you have to hand over the array of file descriptors that it is looking for connections or for data on. And with epoll, you build up that array in the kernel, and so you don't have to pass the entire thing every time. Is that a big deal? I don't know, really, right? Because, in theory, I guess that's a significant performance difference. Certainly, my understanding is the epoll code is a lot more complex. Okay. Which actually means maybe let's do it with poll first, because in theory it's simpler code, and then we'll switch it to epoll a little bit later. I mean, all we got to do is ask the prompt to, or ask Google to Gemini to use the other. So we'll start with poll because it's a little simpler. Okay, now the other part of the design, right? I think what I'm intentionally targeting here right now is going to be that there is only a single thread that is actually accepting connections. In the future, I think that a single network thread that is accepting connections, I'm going to leave a lot of room for the AI to interpret how to process these messages, as you'll see. And I am doing this intentionally because I'm not familiar with different techniques that you might use to do this. My understanding is Nginx actually builds up a queue, so it has a thread that is reading in the messages. It builds up the content of the message and puts it into a queue so that other threads can process it. That seems extremely reasonable, but I don't know if there are other more common ways to do it in a single threaded event looped server like this. And so I'm going to give I'm going to be very careful with the language I use here to give Gemini the freedom to kind of pick how it's going to go about this. And then what we'll do is, actually, I'm going to start off with this too. We're going to build both the client and the server at the same time. Okay, so we'll incorporate these things. We're going to use poll. It's going to be a single-threaded loop. But first, let's get it building both programs. So write a C program named server. The server program should be a simple hello world application that prints hello from the server. I'm going to iterate here, and I just want to, I don't want that. I just want to make sure I'm getting it to write two programs at the same time. Write a C program named client. The client program should be a simple hello world application that prints hello from the client. Okay, so let's make sure we don't have any trouble getting it to produce. I feel like I'm going to sneeze here. Okay, so let's. So we have. So we got the request for both programs here. Let's see if it can generate that correctly. That'll be our starting point. Try and interleave this a little bit here in the future, so we're not just watching. What I'll do is maybe we'll start the prompt and then we can go build the previous one and make sure everything's working, kind of approach. But let's let it work its way through this one. So you can see, looks like we're going to end up around 2,500 tokens for this, which, I mean, Obviously, you want to make it as tight, as small number of tokens as possible, and I can probably work on cleaning up the language of the way I'm prompting to shrink it. And I'll certainly do that if I start to have problems, but we have a lot of headroom here with it being able to take 1 million tokens. Okay, so we got that is the client.c, so let's download client.c. So we'll save that one. Did I miss one above it, or was that the first? Oh, yeah, it looks like here is server.c. And we'll definitely need the updated makefile because it'll have both targets in it, right? Yep, server and client are both targets. So we will save that, replace, jump back over here, make sure that's saved. Ooh, I put them in the wrong folder, so let's move from, that is in the hello world, we want client here, and we want server here. And, oops. So we got client and server, but we also want makefile. So I'll have to remember to fix those later. So they actually represent, okay, so we'll make that. So it just made the server for us. It just made the client. If I run server, we have a running program. If I run client, we of course have our running program, just what we asked for. Okay, let's go back here and actually fix my other folder. I want to be able to commit it with I have no makefile here anymore. I want to be able to commit it with with code that matches that prompt. So let's take this prompt and let's jump over here and spend some more money and let it generate this content. So I'm going to update that. And then we'll start to iterate on the server and the client so that they actually, the server does server things and the client does client things. At the same time as we're doing this, we're going to be building a very primitive binary message protocol that, will be enough to start us out. Obviously, it'll mature in the future. So. You can see this is quite a bit smaller at just 2,400 tokens. We'll probably end up around 15,000, 20,000 tokens by the time we get this program to do exactly what we want. Okay, so here is the makefile. We are in the hello world folder, so that is the right place. I'll pay a little more attention to that next time. And then here is the, what's the name supposed to be? Hello-world C. And that was already there. We could have just clicked on it. And now if I jump over here, so that one works. And if we run hello world, we get that, and it is good. So make clean status. Get status ain't going to do us much there. So we have the prompt. Yep, we have everything I want there. If we go into video 42 and make clean, I don't want to do that. I just want ls. We have everything we want there. And so what I'm going to do is I need to add something. And what we're committing is, I'm just going to refer to this as my preamble. And then video. Okay, so that is the very beginning of us working our way into client server prompt engineering a client server. We'll call it that. In fact, that will be the video title. I will see you guys in the next video as we pick up right where we left off and actually try to get some real functionality out of those 2 bits of code.